In Akron, Ohio, Quentin Nixon represented himself in court. He chose a trial by a judge rather than jury. He was given life in prison for the murder of Tony Westover. A lot of people are of the opinion that he proved his innocence and that he was convicted because he did not have an attorney. No, he did not prove his innocence. Like most people, they believe that getting on the stand telling the truth would prove their innocence. But that's not the case. So let me give you a better understanding of what actually happened. First of all, he's black. That's a strike. Number two, he's uneducated in jurisprudence. That's strike two. Number three, he was just an idiot. And you already know strike three and you're out. Game over. See, although he made good points do not win a trial. Good points do not set you up for an appeal to reverse a conviction. It is only through preservation of error. Because Mr. Quentin Nixon failed to preserve errors, you heard no objections. I need a ruling, Your Honor. Clarification, Your Honor, may I proffer this? Because he was unfamiliar with the rules of evidence in illegal proceedings. Although he may be innocent, he will be found guilty because he do not know how to navigate the waters. There is a Supreme Court saying on this. If you go back and check out Gideon versus Wainwright, the Supreme Court has recognized that although a person is innocent, but because he does not know how to prove his innocence, without competent representation or competently represent himself, he will be found guilty. So people, you have to understand, failure to object, failure to follow rules, failure to ask the proper questions when you choose to represent yourself, it is not that you have a client for a fool. This concept is fantastic and delusionary. This saying is only said because most people don't have the discipline, who have not went to law school, to sit down and study. I'm just one in a million. I believe I'm the only person that exists that really know jurisprudence, how to represent myself, preserve error, file appeal, file a writ of mandamus, file writ of prohibition, etc., to get things done. Not everybody have the time and discipline. That's why it's not advisable for you to represent yourself. But this is a two-edged sword, because you also are ignorant of the law. You cannot properly determine if your attorney is doing their job. And therefore, more than likely, when you file your first notice of appeal, you're not going to have the proper issues before you to analyze what your attorney did not do or failed to do or should have done. So when you look at the Quentin Nixon story, a lot of people saying he was a junkie. He hung with a white trash crowd. None of that is relevant. This video that you are listening to only goes to the merit of his self-representation. We can speculate what happened. Had he had competent counsel, which I don't think he would have had if he was represented by anybody in that jurisdiction. The issue here is, once you represent yourself, you foreclose any avenue of a claim of ineffective assistance of counsel. You have no claim. I'm going to tell you like this here from a pro perspective. From a master litigator perspective, he don't have no chance on appeal. The court has no jurisdiction over issues not preserved and raised in a trial court. It's called due process. It will violate the trial court's powers in judgment. The only way a court would sua sponte, that means on its own initiative. The only way that a court will look at a case if there is what they call a plain error doctrine. And I don't see this happening in a Quentin Nixon case. Mr. Nixon brought to the trial court's attention that a particular police incident support his version, and he wanted to know where he got the version of those facts from because he did not talk to Mr. Nixon. The judge understood the implications of this. Because he did not properly preserve an error, he could have moved for a continuance. Let me tell y'all something about his backup counsel. Having backup counsel is no counsel at all. It's a fancy way of saying, we're going to help you set yourself up to where you cannot get this case overturned. And that's what standby counsel is, because if that counsel was actually counsel, he would have advised him to move for a continuance to get the witness, and the court would have had to grant it, just like they grant the prosecution's request. He did not know the rules of evidence, the rules of objection to procedure, to subpoena a witness there. It's a calamity. As a matter of fact, it was meant for him to go to prison. It's meant for him to never get out, because a wise person would have allowed his attorney to handle the whole situation and argued it on appeal for ineffective assistance of counsel. Also, it shows you the breed of inmates that's locked up with him, with Mr. Nixon. They know nothing. This just goes to show you that pretty much everybody in prison, they are brainwashed into homosexuality and fighting and drugs. No matter what the situation is in prison, if you keep a clear head and seek not to hang with the crowd, you're going to come out like a pro. I'm a living witness of it. So let me get back to this and let you know one thing. The judge knew that his versions of the facts was correct, but because she allowed the judge, one person who already want to see him hung, once you allow a judge to be the judge of the facts, you went down the wrong road. Why did he do this? I have no idea. But I can only tell you, only the ignorant, dumb, and uneducated would take this course of action. This is why, if you don't know the rules of the game, you can't play it. It's just that simple. A lot of people come in on Mr. Nixon case saying he should have had a lawyer. Well, you got a whole bunch of people locked up that had lawyers and getting their cases overturned years later. Having a lawyer does not guarantee anything. The only way you can guarantee a fair trial and a chance of reversing a conviction, you yourself have to understand what the law is on the issue at hand. It's just that simple. Today we live in a modern society where grown men and women have constitutional rights, and they don't know anything about self-representation. Let me put it another way. You got a whole bunch of people out here running businesses. Ain't never been to business school. You don't need a degree. You just need the knowledge. This is how lazy we have become as grown folks, we want to call ourselves. We say, I'm an adult. I'm a man. I'm a woman. But when you step up in a courtroom to represent yourself, you can't. You have to pay a man thousands to millions of dollars to represent you. Who wants to do that? Even the rich don't like doing that, but they have to. So the rich have to come up with a scheme to recoup all this money that they wasted on lawyers. And the scheme is you. Do not give into the cliche that a man that represents himself has a fool for a client. Do not give into that. See, people love saying cliches without understanding the actual origin of the cliche. If you seek to represent yourself and you don't know anything about the law, of course, you're going to lose. Of course, it's going to end in disaster. We can no longer hide behind the phrase, you shouldn't represent yourself, because I can show you today where hundreds of attorneys are representing people, and they're incompetent. They're getting their case reversed because the lawyer failed to do this, the lawyer failed to do this. And I can also show you where lawyers are actually stealing their clients' settlement money. See, that's because you made it possible for an attorney to steal your money by signing an agreement saying that he can receive your settlement checks. Only a dummy do that. An attorney is just like a plumber, a sheetrock worker, an electrician. This is business. And if you don't know the business, you're on some bullshit, you're going to get some shit handed to you. And you're supposed to. The world do not pity the ignorant. The world do not care about an ignorant, dumb, poor individual. They would express sympathy, but you can't live on sympathy. That's why in this world called business, you're going to stand on business or you're going to fall in some cesspool bullshit. That's just the way it is. Now, don't look at me and look at yourself and try to compare yourself to me. You ain't built like me. You're not intelligent like me. You're not stronger than me. You got a lot of people I come in contact with. They say, oh, are you a lawyer? Do you have a law degree? I ask this question. Do you think you have to have a business degree, a business license to start a business? No. My question is, and the question should be, why do you have constitutional rights, state rights, statutory rights, and you don't know how to represent yourself in it? You'll go sign a contract and don't know how to enforce a contract when it's breached. So don't come to me saying or trying to look at how ignorant you are and compare yourself to me, because you're going to always come up short. Because, see, I don't talk based on how much money I got or how much material things I got. I speak with authority, whether I got money or not. A lot of y'all are persuaded by people on social media that got money. You listening to what they got because they got money. That's why you don't have none. You don't have no substance. If you listen to people just because they got money, you already lost in the game because you don't know how they got their money. None of them will ever open up their actual finances and show you how they got it. They'll just tell you, this is what I did. But guess what? An intelligent man say, well, I cannot verify how you actually done that. You assert that. That's why you have to think and read on your own. If you notice, everybody is entertained by rich folks. That's how they get rich. Because the ignorant, dumb, and uneducated won't invest in themselves. They'll say, oh, I just hire. Everybody I know, they say, I'm going to hire a lawyer for divorce. I'm going to hire a lawyer to represent me in this criminal case. They really think they can afford a lawyer. Well, let me just tell you something. When that lawyer tell you he need $3,000 down, $5,000 down, that lawyer is just getting your money. The lawyer not going to do anything for you, because that's not real money for a lawyer. For the skills that the lawyer the skills that the lawyer can provide for you, that's not money. So, and you don't get me wrong, you got lawyers out here who would take a big chunk of your money, $25,000, $50,000, and won't do anything for you. That's because they don't know you don't know the rules of the game. You don't know what they're supposed to do. So of course they're gonna rob and steal from you. That's why they rich. Because they know once they finesse you into this contract, you don't know how to go up in the courtroom and undo it. So quit listening to rich folks and what they got. That's what you being dazzled. A lot of y'all trying to figure out how a pimp can get a female to sell her body. The same way them rich can subdue you with what they got to get you to listen to them and get your money. You ain't no different from the common hoe on the street, taking in every and anything when you don't even know how to represent yourself in court on a contract that you signed. So why did you enter in a contract that you don't know how to search that contract out and determine how it was breached? A lot of y'all got home insurance, car insurance. Soon as a car get hit, the person don't have insurance, you let your own insurance company take over the claim. You a dummy. This is why your premiums still go up. So you got to invest in yourself. So for anybody that's coming in contact with me in the future, don't try to compare yourself with me, because we just built different. I'm a leader. A lot of y'all just followers. I'm a teacher. A lot of y'all just dumb pupils. I'm just different. I don't need money and glamour to promote myself, because my value has never hinged on material things. It hinged on the acquisition of knowledge and credibility and character. By the way, a lot of y'all lack character. A lot of y'all faking and shaking. But I'm going to tell you something. You better build a bridge around you, because everything that's not structurally engineered properly will collapse. And that's just the way it is. So if you think that having money is value, you better put people around you that got knowledge that can save your life, that can help you in a life crisis. Because see, money will only do so much. Money will make a person turn on you. Money will make your own family kill you. History is the best teacher of these facts. So consider this free knowledge today as a compliment of my ability to reach those, and some will never be reached. But that's quite all right. I can take you to the water, but I can't make you drink. Some of you gonna dry drinking the water because you're greedy. But welcome back to Speak Van Holen 247, etc. And if you like, subscribe and share. I'm gonna sign off for right now. Tune in for some new channels that I will be creating coming the next year. Those channels should take off the ground by March or even February of 2025. It's time to expand the game plan. I bring quality, not quantity. If you're not original, you're a knockoff. And if you like wearing knockoffs, it ain't the real deal. There is no substitute for real food. Artificial food will cause you problems, immediate and in the near future. So if you want to eat to live, you better tune in to Speak Van Holen 247, etc. and get you a legal education. Don't hate me. Don't hate the game. Hate how you play and approach the game. I'm sounding out.